Brackets on brackets. We tryna get to these brackets. We flipping through all of these hits and these classics. Sometimes don't know which one to pick when that happens. We mixing and matching. We listening and tryna get brackets. Complex brackets.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Complex Brackets. I'm your host, Brian B.Dot Miller, and today we're joined by an attorney, Emmy Award-winning journalist, and TV personality. But right now, he's come to us as a hip-hop head. Please welcome host of MSNBC's The Beat, Ari Melber. Ari, what's good, man?
What's up, man?
Feeling good, man.
Thanks for having me. Beautiful place.
Where do you keep that Emmy at, man?
Right now, the Emmy's at home.
Okay.
But you know what Drake said?
What did Drake say?
I'm just trying to stay alive and take care of my people. And they don't got no award for that.
They don't have an award for
Trophies.
that. Absolutely. Now, Ari, hip-hop has always been a platform that's given a voice to the voiceless. And being that you have a political background, we thought it was only right for you to help us crown the best hip-hop protest song of all time. Is that cool?
I love it.
Ready to get it bracking?
Let's go.
Let's do it. First matchup we have, Tupac Changes versus Queen Latifah Unity.
I know my pick.
Let me see what you got. We already off on the wrong start.
There we go. You make
Really?
the case. I mean, that is an important song, so I could see the case for changes.
Wow.
UNITY was more important, more significant for a longer period of time as an anthem of a woman's voice in a misogynistic, male-dominated hip-hop.
That's true.
That was strong and in its own way brash and angry, while also, if you listen past the beat,
Yes.
talking about an energy of we can still come together, and I'm gonna tell you how it is, but then we can work together. And that was sorely needed in hip hop. So to me, it's the more sustainable long-term classic protest anthem.
But you
out
don't
of
think
these
with
two.
Tupac, what he was saying, like, you know, we need to change the way we eat, change the way we think. You know, like Tupac was like super conscious.
I don't have a bad word to say about changes.
Wow.
And as you said, the way that song's put together, it's very stirring.
Yes.
As what we know about Pac, there were so many Pacs.
Yes.
You know when they say Pac, choose your fighter, and there's the gangster Pac, and the poet
Yes,
Pac,
yeah.
and the party Pac, and the lover Pac.
Yeah.
And changes is something that reminds you of that deep poetry in the layers of him as a human. But yeah, UNITY as a protest song.
Yes.
Still slaps to this day.
Wow. All right, Ari. Well, UNITY goes on to the next round. All right, Ari, let me see how you feel about this. Public Enemy, Fight the Power versus Arrested Development, Revolution.
To me, this is not a close call.
Okay. Let me see what you got. Fight the Power.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty accurate right there, right?
Fight the Power is an incredible song. The backstory was that Spike wanted something that would be original. I had read that he talked to Public Enemy about doing more of a classic spiritual type gospel song version. And they kind of worked on it and said, no, it actually needs to have rap. It needs to be bars, right? Because people forget, this was so much earlier in the history of rap.
Right.
Rap was still being dismissed all over the place. I heard the Public Enemy push back, said, no, it needs these bars, it needs this fire. And he, being a good creative, took the note, put it in the film. It's one of the most iconic protest songs of any genre, period.
Absolutely. All right, well, Fight the Power goes on to the next round. All right, Ari, let me get your thoughts on Eminem Mosh versus Lil Wayne, Georgia Bush. Let me see what you got. Ari, come on, man.
Let's hear it.
I mean, think about it. I mean, these two songs were unexpected from these particular artists, right? You don't expect Eminem to get too political, but when he did go into that, the video, of course, and it was like Eminem was going against George Bush. I mean, I think George Bush even sent those people at him, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you might have sent the...
You might have the argument, again, it depends how we think about this. You might have the argument, right, that maybe the Eminem went farther in the culture, maybe.
But are you still sticking with Lil Wayne and Georgia Bush?
I'll move.
You're gonna move, wow.
And I don't move easily.
Well, you heard it first from Ari. Sorry, Weezy. Mosh is on to the next round. Next up, we got Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture versus YG Nipsey Hussle. Fuck Donald Trump.
At this moment in time, I have not made my decision, so I'll just talk. Can I just talk it out?
You can just talk it out.
So Trump was the most cited human being in hip hop before he went into politics.
He was.
Over 530 songs as of 2016.
Wow.
We reported on that at the time. So he had this whole standing, but like a lot of people felt about him as a reality show star and as an entertainer, that was a nod to his gauche, wealthy,
his opulence.
brash style, his opulence, decadence. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people were signing on to the rest, especially when he emerged of what he was. So then you had this backlash. FTT is the most important contemporaneous rebuke of Trump. The song went back on the charts when he lost.
Right, it did.
And the Nipsey verse on it, I'm from a place where you probably can't go.
Right.
There's some steam building and it's probably about to blow.
That's a fact.
And then they said our beef is not racial, our beef is with Donald Trump because of what he stands for. And there's a bar in there about white people are like my next of kin, which really harkens back to a lot of the promise of hip hop, which is if we share respect, if we actually fix the world around us, then race doesn't have to be the dividing line that they want to make it.
Right.
So to me, FTT is just super important that way.
So what do you think about artists like Kanye West and Kodak Black buddying up to Trump? Why do you think that is?
Well, Kodak made a deal. So I'm not here to judge what I haven't lived and what I don't know.
Right.
You make a deal to get out of a situation. That's kind of its own thing, is it not?
I think so.
That's a deal.
Right.
Right.
The art of the deal.
As it were. Ye, who has such global influence and is a truly independent, innovative creative that we owe so much to in the culture in more than one realm. I don't think you can only interpret Ye's political forays as linear electoral politics. I think Ye's like, this is the craziest sneaker on the rack.
Yeah.
You're like, but that was made by slave labor, and it's corrupt.
It's like being a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian.
So that's how I've always viewed it, and I think we need to have free speech here. We can't be in a space of trying to say, well, I disagree with that, so I don't want to hear it. You heard Ye out. He did get hurt. Then you can debate it. And I think the opprobrium and the criticism he's gotten is well earned. But let him say his piece. And he went to his White House meeting, and it was bananas. You could go back on YouTube and rewatch it as bananas forever. But that's where that is.
Do you think that Trump would employ any of his rapper friends for his bid in 2024? Potential bid in 2024.
He wants to. I mean, I'll tell you this. When we were covering the first impeachment trial, so one of his ambassadors that normally wouldn't have to say anything is under oath, under heat, and he was explaining how the day that they were thinking about the Ukraine stuff, which also looks different as the history's gone on, he said, well, that day Trump was obsessed over trying to get A$AP Rocky back to the US because he thought it would help him with the vote. And we said that Sweden's shut us down. And then he said this under oath. The diplomat goes, and I told the president, I said, you can tell the Kardashians we tried as hard as we could. So yeah, he would love to have that support because he thinks that people react to what is known, famous, and shiny. I'm totally torn. I want to hear your pick.
Well, I got to show you my pick first before you hear it. Let me see what you got, Ari.
It's hard.
Yep, see, we're on the same page, man.
Hard. Complex brackets trivia.
Yes.
Which artist who's already been on the board that we've discussed today is quoted in FDT?
Wow. You stumping me on my own show, Ari?
Just doing trivia. You can cut it out. You can edit it out.
I don't know, man. I think I'm stumped.
Tupac.
All right, Tupac.
Black Sets Brown Love and the Pride again.
That's why you get paid the big. That's why he has the Emmy, guys. Well,
but that's the thing, and that just to round it out, man. Pac, of course, was a revolutionary. Comes out of a Black Panther household. But he did talk, at that point, he was talking about black-brown interracial cooperation, unity, put the strife aside. This song, in their own way, modernized, because you need a multiracial coalition to beat Donald Trump. Yeah. It was very sophisticated, I thought, the way these artists were quoting Pac and modernizing it for this situation.
All right, and you eliminated Pac, too, in the first round.
You got me.
YG and Nipsey, FDT, goes on to the next round.
Okay.
All right, moving on. KRS-One, Sound of the Police versus NWA, Fuck the Police.
Both these songs play throughout the world, as you know, B.Dot, for indigenous movements, for protest movements. That's how powerful it is. So Sound of the Police has that international following.
Yeah.
But you see where I'm going.
I don't know where you're going. Where I'm going? Let me see what
Let's
you got.
Let's go.
Oh, Ari, you killed.
My.
You should be arrested, Ari.
All right, let me hear you.
Come on, it's KRS-One. First off, it's been sampled. It was on the takeover, but that's neither here nor there.
Respect.
We run New York, but I just feel like anytime I hear a siren to this day, I say, whoop, that's the sound of the police.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, again, when we talk, I'm reading this hip hop protest song.
Right.
The reason why I land and stay with F the Police is this was such a radical and important assertion for these men to make coming out of their lives The FBI, by the way, investigated their record label over it. We talk about speech. That's exactly the risk. The FBI came in and tried to start doing album reviews. You know who pays the FBI? We do.
Right.
You know what we don't pay them for? Album reviews. Leave it to Complex. So they came in, these are people carrying guns on behalf of the government, intimidating record labels, because that's how powerful that message was. And the last thing I'll say is, this title was strong, but when you listen to the song, it wasn't F all police.
Yeah.
It was F police brutality. They think they have the authority to kill a minority. And by the way, I'm a member of the press. I try to do my job well. This is a story that at the time, most of the national press ignoring.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a very powerful song.
Wow, good cross-examination, counselor.
Hey, you know.
He's like, you're a lawyer or something, man. You're from Ari. F the Police goes on to the next round. Next up to bat, we have Kendrick Lamar, All Right, versus J. Cole, Be Free.
I don't think it's close.
I don't think it's close neither.
All right, let's go.
Wow, we're finally seeing eye to eye, Ari.
Maybe you're rubbing off on me, you know? it's in the air.
Let's talk about the legacy of All Right, though.
Preach on it.
Preach on it. I think like All Right has take on a life of its own, you know? Like during these marches, people are just chanting this. It's almost like a battle cry at this point, you know? It's bigger than just hip hop.
Do you think that this is a song that's meaning evolved for people? Because to your point, it slaps as its own kind of thing. You can just get down with it, and then when you hear it more.
It feels almost like this generation say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. You might not necessarily know the lyrics, but you know the rally cry.
That makes sense.
Be Free, you know, from J. Cole, you know, was in the wake of the Mike Brown situation. So, but I just think, All Right, you know, for the sake of this argument, has to go on to the next round.
B.Dot, when you're right, you're right.
I think it. Well, all right to that. Next up, we have Outkast featuring CeeLo Green, Liberation, versus Dead Prez, Hip Hop.
Not even close, I can pick.
Not even close. I had to think about it for a second, but. Oh! Ari, seriously?
Let's go.
Really? Why did you go with Dead Prez?
First of all, personally, because these are my picks, right?
These are your picks?
And this is the kind of song that like I would put on as a teenager, getting ready to go nerd out all day.
You had your backpack on real tight?
I mean, this is for me just so personal, and Dead Prez are a very underappreciated group. I mean, I guess the catalog's not as long as some. If you're a hip hop head, you know. That song captures that at a kind of a vibration that is higher than that particular song, although I love Outkast.
Yeah, I remember Obama, I think he had it on his playlist.
Sounds right.
Are you sticking with Dead Prez?
I'm sticking with Dead Prez. I give honorable mention to Andre 3000, who's one of my favorite lyricists. So shout out to Outkast, but to me, not even close, man.
Not even close. All right, Ari. It's deeper than hip hop. Dead Prez goes on to the next round. And for our last matchup in the first round, we have Luke and the 2 Live Crew, Band of the USA versus Childish Gambino, This Is America.
This makes sense to me. Just what you're curating here is 2 songs that are both about America, challenge America, and in their own ways have drawn a response from America. So in the case of Luke and the 2 Live Crew, the efforts to ban their music went all the way to the Supreme Court.
That's crazy.
So to me, this is a protest song that doesn't just talk about protests. The song is the protest.
Yes.
And it's 2 Live Crew going, here, America, what are you gonna do about that? And what they did was try to ban it, and most of their claims, I'm simplifying, but most of the artists' claims were vindicated in court.
They were valid.
They were arrested on a stage once for performing. Think about the power of music. So I get excited just thinking about that. Then This Is America has gotta be one of the top protest songs of any genre in the last decade, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. And the video too won a Grammy Award for Best Video.
And what I remember from the video, I'm curious.
It was like
if
one
you
take.
remember the B.Dot was like, if B.Dot, you remember it goes one take the whole time, and you see the way he acts out America is the degradation of Black lives and then the honorific for guns.
Right.
That's American policy.
Yeah.
You know? Did you like that song?
I loved it. But do you love it enough for it to go to the next round? Let me see what you got. I guess you do.
But shout out to 2 Live Crew.
Of course. This is America, and that is Ari's picks. All right, Ari, let's jump into our Elite 8. First up, we got Queen Latifah versus Public Enemy, Fight the Power.
I'm ready.
You're confident. Let me see what you got. Fight the Power.
Shout out to the Queen. We spoke about why that's such an important song. But in this face-off, Fight the Power remains iconic soundtrack to the movie and to the movement.
Absolutely. All right, Fight the Power goes on to the next round. Next up, we got Eminem Maj versus YG and Nipsey, FDT.
Let's go.
The battle against presidents. FDT.
You know, they say the secret to a great Disney film
Yeah,
is not the protagonist,
right.
it's the villain.
It's the villain, right?
Think about what you grew up on and which ones were like really got you.
Yeah.
And so when you have us facing off on protest songs against Bush, who was criticized for many valid reasons, and then Trump, who proved to be an existential threat to democracy.
Right.
If you don't need to know anything else about Donald Trump, say you agree with this or that. Some people say, well, I like this part. You need to understand that his position was the military should help him end democracy so he could stay in power forever. Do you want to live in a country like that? Go look at Russia and ask yourself.
Yeah.
That's who the villain is here, according to these artists, and that's why that song wins.
YG and Nipsey advance to the next round. How about this? NWA, F the Police versus Kendrick Lamar. All right. It's Compton versus Compton.
Exactly. And you got the new school Compton built on that legacy. Kendrick, a Pulitzer Prize winning lyricist who has tons of knowledge and respect of his forefathers and his elders and you know, Alice Walker, who he quotes, Color Purple. So he's very conversant with his own history. This is probably generational, B.Dot. This is like, how old are you? Because under a certain age, I know where you're going, but I am who I am, my guy.
I think I know what you're doing. Ari, I thought we were friends.
You're younger.
I thought we were brothers.
This is what I'm saying. Now, not in all things, because I think, you know, I got to interview George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic. And I said, I have a simple question for you. How do you stay funky? He said he's 80.
Wow.
He said you take the music that your kids, or in my case, your grandkids are listening to that sounds maybe like noise to you, and you keep listening to it till you find what's good in it. That's how you stay funky. So I want to stay funky with you. I do like Kendrick. I do listen to new stuff. I think you know that.
Of course.
But this is generational, man. I'm staying with NWA.
All right, well, NWA, F the Police, advances to the left. And for our last matchup in the second round, we got Dead Prez versus Childish Gambino. This is America.
Not close. Not even close.
Not even close. I think I got it.
Wow. I'm surprised at you.
I mean, granted, you picked Dead Prez initially.
But when you say hip hop protest song, talking about that, they'll be playing this song, I believe, in 25 years.
And you speak about generational divides. I mean, do you think protest songs are more effective now or in the past?
Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution will not be televised. It was a criticism of the way corporate media and then largely white-dominated media was covering or ignoring stories, right? Later, Jay-Z says, where the hammer's rung, news cameras never come. Same idea. If you're young right now, you expect to be able to put your ideas out rapidly for your friend circle to see, and maybe more. And maybe it goes viral or not, but the idea that you can get it out is a given. And then the Dead Prez era, the NWA era, these things weren't on the news. There was no instant publishing platform. The media was over here doing what it was doing, so it mattered more in the culture. Does that mean this song is less important? No, it just means it came out in a different era in the same way that people wrote things before the printing press. But you couldn't read it.
Yeah, these days the revolution will be tweeted. Absolutely.
B.Dot with the big fact. 140 characters in these streets.
Absolutely. Now, Ari, we've seen songs like Pop Smoke's Dior, a song with no political language whatsoever, become like a rallying cry during BLM protests. Why do you think that is? Do you think any song can become a protest anthem?
It's an interesting question. I think that music is a huge language, and that language is not always strictly verbal. Dior, I mean, I could give you an argument for Dior.
Please.
First of all, he says Christian Dior like 27 times, so shout out to, you know, sticking with your message. But second, the argument is, if you grow up in an environment where you are systematically denied something, pursuing that thing is a political act, because just like Biggie said to all the teachers who said I wouldn't amount to anything, saying I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it out of here, or I'm gonna have wealth. I'm gonna have wealth to buy things that were unfathomable when I was growing up. So yeah, you can from the outside say, oh, is that materialism? And me, I mean, you could tell I don't have a lot of fancy clothes personally. But from the inside, if you listen to people, what you might hear is, well, getting this label was the validation of the success. In a system stacked against me, with people telling me you're never allowed to succeed,
Yeah.
you never will succeed. So in that point, Dior and other labels and other things start to become a signifier.
Status symbol,
right?
right.
So is Dapper Dan reaching a level, is that just clothes? No, it's a lot more going on than that, one could argue.
Right. I think your argument's on point. This is America. Goes on to the next round. And there we have it, our final four. It's only gonna get worse from here now, Ari.
It's tough.
It's all political now. First matchup we got, Public Enemy Fight the Power versus YG and Nipsey, FDT. Clash of the Titans.
Titans indeed.
I got mine.
I got mine.
Okay. Fight the Power. You know why I like Fight the Power over this is because it's gonna be applicable for whoever's in power. You know, whether it's Trump, it's whomever. I think this one just has a longer lasting shelf life, so I'm going with that.
I think you're right, B.Dot. It's no different than when Fabulous says, Motorola two-way page me. That's for that moment.
Right.
He
Yeah.
knows that 20 years later it's not gonna feel the
Yeah.
same. This is for this moment, it mattered, it was huge, and that's what it was, FDT.
Right.
Fight the Power lives on, and when you look at where it's playing, it's a lot of cities with police still killing innocent people, overwhelmingly black and brown people. We have the data. That song is for not just Trump or Trump-like conservative candidates,
Yeah.
it's for who's in power. Oh, this new mayor said it'd be different, but the rate is the same.
Yeah.
And that, I think, applies as an anthem in a way that's different than something that, as you said, has an expiration date.
All right, well, Fight the Power. That's going on to the final round. And for our last matchup, we have NWA, F the Police versus Childish Gambino. This is America.
This is tough. This might offend my political connect.
Can't do that.
I'm ready.
Wow! Ari, you gave this whole speech about generational divides.
That was in the last
That
round.
was the last one.
Yeah, the game keeps changing.
Wow.
Because now you're up to this song taking on so many issues. It takes on the Second Amendment guns issue, it takes on mass shootings, it takes on a lot of things that I think continue to be vital. As you know, you heard me talk.
Yeah.
Man, that's hard for me. That's why I said might offend, but I'm going with Gambino.
Wow, okay, well, Childish Gambino. This is America. Goes on to the final round. All right, are you ready for our championship round?
Let's go.
All right, we have Public Enemy Fight the Power versus Childish Gambino. This is America.
Shout out to Complex Brackets.
Yes.
When you get to a final matchup like this, you did something right in the seedings because these are iconic from different generations. I think you can make an argument that Fight the Power is the most important early hip hop protest anthem. I think you can make that argument. We talked about some other amazing ones, and you can say this is America is the most important contemporary protest anthem.
They both have great videos to them too. I mean,
Interesting that you make that point. Are we subconsciously affected by that as well?
absolutely. I mean, you go back, you look at Public Enemy, they're in the streets, they have the signs, Flavor Flav is Flavor Flaving. Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant anything to me. That's what they said, so.
B.Dot with facts, and you walk around Brooklyn, you still have the hate and the love.
Love and the hate, man.
I think you make a very apt point, B.Dot, that maybe the fact that both of these have visuals that we take in, and then when you walk around and that song comes back on by Gambino, you're hearing it, but you're also seeing the way he dances
Right.
to it and thinking about the message. in that.
Shirtless at that.
Shirtless at that. Also an assertion of a black body in
Yeah.
a song about the treatment of black bodies. Man, this is tough, but I know where I'm going.
Let me see what you got. Wow, we're on the same page.
When it counted.
According to Ari Melber, Public Enemy Fight the Power is the best hip hop protest song of all time. And you know what? You're a hero to me, Ari.
Hey, shout out to Public Enemy. And here we have one of the greatest protest songs of all time, any genre, no cap.
And F John Wayne, just for the hell of it. Now, Ari, besides rappers voicing their frustrations on wax, we've seen rappers become way more political. I think about Jay-Z's involvement with President Barack Obama's campaign. Do you think there's a tangible benefit to their involvement, or is it just for show?
I think we are best served when artists are allowed to just be artists. I think we have a modern world where we can see more. You know, you brought up Ye earlier. It's like, we didn't have Van Gogh's tweets. You know, but if he cut off an ear, I can bet you the tweets were going to be wild.
Absolutely.
So now we want artists to be so many things, and I'm separating artists from celebrities. Celebrities are known for being known. Artists are known for making art.
Yeah.
So if we care about their art, and they are contributing something that most people can't.
Yeah.
I think it's best as a community, fans, whatever you want to call it, that we support that and let them do that in their lane. If they want to do more, fine, but I don't think there should be a litmus test where every artist has to get political or endorse or do this and that, even though, yes, there are big moral issues, and there's a rich tradition of artists doing that. With Jay-Z, I do think he helped Obama.
Yeah.
I do think their kinship was real. There's interviews with Obama before he ran for president where he was talking about Jay-Z songs by name. So that also had some reality to it. And that's the one good thing. I talked a little bit about how things have changed. Nowadays, we can tell who's phony.
Yeah.
We could tell who's faking. We could tell very quickly on a video, like, did you really know that? Or were you saying that because you thought it would sound cool? And so that's the same with politicians both ways. If they're gonna connect, it's gotta be real. It can't be like, hey.
You can't phone it in. Can't fake the funk.
Can't fake the funk. Don't believe the hype.
All right, now before we get out of here on a more lighthearted note, is there a rapper that you think would make for a good politician or even president?
Crossovers work. I mean, Farside said if I were president,
They did.
I would make sure all the money spent on good things.
Right.
Who would be a good candidate?
Yeah.
Rihanna would be a good candidate.
Well, she can't be president because she's from Barbados.
Yeah, but who said why do you want to start with president? Everyone's
Sorry.
always, get some experience. I don't know. It just depends on what you're looking for. Maybe City Girls. Mix it up.
Well, in that case, period. Yo, I want to thank my guest, Ari Melber, for joining us on this week's episode of Complex Brackets and helping us crown the best protest song of all time. But what do you think? Jump in the comments, let us know, and make sure you check out the description below where you'll find a playable link to this exact bracket. Just make sure you share your results using the hashtag Complex Brackets on all social platforms. I'll catch y'all next week. I'm Brian B.Dot Miller. Power to the people.